Hi, folks, and welcome to another episode here on Tisbury 33 Games. We have the Boston Red Sox 25 franchise here, and 39-39 is our record. A very pivotal stretch here coming in at the end of June to begin July. Are we buyers? Are we sellers? Are we going for it? Are we taking the L? Again, this is a very fortuitous July. Some teams that have been kind of falling out. With a mix of some teams that are really good. We could have ourselves a really, really, really prosperous month and then jump into that buyer's market and call it the day. If we don't, then we have some pieces that we can sell off. So I've talked about playing this series. I think we are going to just kind of sim these series, let the computer take over, and then if we really need to, we can take our destiny into our own hands against some really good teams here at the end of in August and September. So without further ado, let us, we'll probably talk right before we do the draft and see kind of where we are and talk about some things. I will say, of the things we need to look at, a first baseman. I mean, we do have Jordan Walker, but he hasn't exactly been lighting the world on fire with Tristan Costas gone. That kind of made us a priority. Corner infield, really. Alex Bregman's been not good. Roman Anthony hasn't been good, but we're going to let him go through his struggles. Marcelo Meyer has been killing it. Devers is obviously killing it, so we could put him at either first or third, and if we just get a bat that's really good, that maybe doesn't fit those corner infield positions, we do have Devers that can play. He won't demand a trade in this universe like he would in real life. Christian Campbell has been really good, maybe a second baseman with Campbell over third. We have some options. Riley Green has been playing a little bit better over his last 10 games, a couple home runs and 275 average. So that's kind of what we're looking for. That's kind of what we're going. The pitching staff has been awesome. We are getting Johnny Turner here soon. So let's just, without further ado, kind of get in there and see what we have going for the rest of June and July. All right, here we are at the draft. Again, we will cycle through these players, and we'll talk about some. We talked about most of these players already. If you did not see that, most of those guys are going to be talked about in the last episode, the end of last episode. Here are some guys that we got new. Bobby Richards, a guy that is a not ranked 15th on our board, especially like I talked about. We have pick 14, and we don't do again until 91 or 92, something like that, because we lost a pick when signing Riley Green. Bobby Richards, 4 pitches, velocity. Young. Let's roll with it. Guy like Stan Villanueva. Somewhat the same thing. 4 pitches as well. Young. Not ranked. Pitcher that we can probably get hopefully late. But yeah, this is going to be a very interesting draft. Another guy, Arthur Beam. Another guy who doesn't throw as hard. A little bit more crafty, if you will. Definitely very interesting. Here's Tim Warren's stats for those who remember we drafted him last year. It's going to be a very interesting draft. I think we have some guys later on the board that we can. If the board goes our way, it should be very interesting. If it doesn't, I think there are some flyers that we can take. We have some higher rated guys potential-wise here or there. But I am very interested in this draft. Again, we will kind of go right into it right now. Let's see what kind of rolls our way. So this year it is Toronto, Houston, and the White Sox picking 1, 2, 3 again, and then we do not pick again till number 14. Let's see how many names are off the board by the time we get there. I have definitely enough picks as Henry Montano goes. We were very interested in him, but he goes number 1. A high schooler pitcher going number 1 to the Blue Jays. We'll have to see how good he is. Carlos Valentin, again, number 2 on our board. Back-to-back pitchers go. We have seen some top prospects fall in seasons past. Edwin Rivera, number 1 prospect, he goes to the south side. So again, Elvis Cabrera, I think, is our number 1. A guy like Ross Kahn also could be very interesting just with that potential. Playing shortstop, we will see. Elvis Cabrera, the dream is dead. He will not be coming. He goes to Colorado. This was his profile. Really good to go into Colorado. Bruno Calero goes. We were out on Bruno Calero, just didn't have as high of a ceiling as we wanted, and we already have some good catching depth. I was fine not taking him in the first round. Carlos Herrera goes. We didn't put too much stock into him. These are what his just 20% scouted looked like on our end. Really good fastball, it seems. Milwaukee, they go Jorge Gomez, the guy that we would think about here. Big power bat out of Mexico, but the potential just seemed like he's very capped, and also looks like he's going to be basically at his potential when he gets there. Diego Sierra, another guy, he was third on our board, so our top 3 have gone, including number 5 and number 7 as well. Norris Foley goes. We had him on the board just in case, but he was a guy that was falling a little bit. Again, didn't have that too high of a ceiling. Mason Whitty goes. Whitey goes. Whitey, drafting a guy named Whitey. Very funny drafting a guy named Whitey. Jermaine Noblesse. Again, 2 guys here that were 4th and 5th, but they had fallen on our board, and looks like we still have some nice heavy hitters to pick from. Lionel Gildenhouse. Again, not really on our board, not really on MLB's board, so the Angels continue to draft very interestingly. Then Patrick Hinojosa goes. So a couple of guys that we were fine letting go, a couple of guys we didn't expect to be there. Again, these are the choices. We can go Emilio Diaz, 77 to 93 potential, 4th on our board. Really good contact, really good vision. That could be the option. Ray Pettit, kind of same thing, but lower in the potential-wise, but another high school shortstop from Texas who fits a very similar profile. Ross Kahn, however, he did opt out. He is asking for $3.3 million, while the other guys aren't asking for much more. The potential looks really promising. As long as he's not hurt, I really like this pick. Bobby Richards and Stan Villanueva are guys we're hoping are there later on. Other than that, the rest of these guys, we are thinking it's these 3 shortstops. 6-foot switch hitter, can play second or third. 5'10" righty, play second or third. 6'3" righty. I'm going to go with Ross Kahn. We're going for the potential. We are sticking to our guns. Ross Kahn, 12th on our board, 28th on Major League Baseball's board. Again, the other guys are rated higher in game, but I thought if we hit on Ross Kahn, it's going to be the better pick. Again, Diaz 4th, Pettit 6th on our board. But even if you got a really good roll there, it's not guaranteed to be better than Kahn. I just really like that potential range. 85 to 96 for the most part. These things have been pretty accurate. Obviously, in this game, they do have that ability to it be skewed. But the fact he's a riser, the fact that, it's not exactly a position of need, but it's a position, that you just draft best available. Especially, he could slide to third base. He could do something different. So that's going to be very interesting. Emilio Diaz goes. Erwin Lynch goes. Marshall Brown goes. And then Steven Lynn, guy I think, hey, maybe we could have got him later on in the draft. He goes here. Luis Franco goes here. We weren't really looking too much. Again, we will watch the first round as we usually do. And then we will skip ahead to our pick and see how many guys are still on our board. Jay Ritson, he goes. We were very low on him. 36 on MLB's board, only 87 on our board. So, again, we were kind of out on him. Paul Nunez, another guy that we were falling on. So I like that these guys are going now and not the guys that we had rising, but the guys we had falling are going because we weren't really interested in them anyway. Victor Cardova, didn't really put much stock into him. 75th on MLB's board. He could be a gem, but it looks like even the potential gap isn't exactly guaranteed from him. Gerald Pride. It was a really good second base class, I believe, here. But I didn't really put too much stock. I didn't really love Forrest Bryant goes, which could be a very good pick here. 5-pitch mix from the 18-year-old who's not going to have that beard for much longer. As I edit a lot of these guys, Manuel Chavez, he goes. Third base and second base had really, really good top guys there. Obviously, I liked some of the third basemen a little bit more. Pablo Barreto, another third baseman I checked in on. Pettit still on the board. Bobby Richards still on the board. Pettit 22nd on MLB's board. Richards not ranked. Villanueva not ranked. Arthur Beam not ranked. And then the rest of these guys are a little bit lower and probably go in these next couple of rounds. Joe Dunn, he ends up going here at 28. A catcher that was a little bit of a riser. Didn't put much stock into catchers this year, obviously. There weren't any that really jumped out at me, and there weren't many that I was very interested in later in the draft as well. And then Reed Fernandez goes here. Still some of the guys on our board. We will see you with our next pick. All right, so it looks like everybody is gone. Right now, the pick is Stan Villanueva. We will see where the rest of these guys end up going. But 18th on our board, we think he could be really good. We are going to make that selection and not even think twice about it. All right, and both of our guys have gone that we had left on the board. Some guys I thought we were going to be able to get later in on the draft. Here are the guys who we have to choose from. Do we go reliever here? Looks like a guy like Dwayne Fletcher could be really good, potentially. But yeah, it's all starters, which are good. We're probably going to be taking some flyers on some of these guys here, but I am interested in a guy like Reese Nobles. I think that's where we're going to go here. 98 potential. We have some scouting in on him, so we are going to draft Reese Nobles. But blind from basically here on out. Not keen about drafting relievers, but a guy like Dwayne Fletcher seems like a guy that we can kind of put some stock into. Hopefully he'll be really good, and we're going to get Dwayne Fletcher here. Last pick, we will go Doug Childress here. Again, a shot in the dark. Looks like he had the highest potential left, and a lot of stock going to be put into our first pick this year. Hopefully Ross Kahn is good, because we need him to be. All right, we are going to look at our draft picks here. Ross Kahn ended up being very, very good. Good contact against lefties, 62 overall starting out, 92% potential. Stan Villanueva ended up being 84 potential with some pretty good starting attributes you like where he's at. Reese Nobles, he ends up being 89 potential, a real big steal, especially considering we didn't really have him. 53 overall starting out, though, and Villanueva is 68 overall to start out. At the end of our board, Dwayne Fletcher, 76 potential, 56 overall, and does have 66 stamina, so more of a starter, really. And then 56 overall, 72 potential for Doug Childress. Overall, not too... my goal was to hit your first pick. We hit our first pick. Here are some of the other drafts around. Joe Dunn, the first pick of the Orioles. Nothing too crazy to write about here. Gerald Pride ended up being okay. Yankees really missed out. The Rays draft, nothing too crazy. Henry Montano, the first overall pick, ended up being 85 potential. Nothing, not bad at all. Edwin Rivera, the number one overall consensus player, ends up being 84 potential, 68 starting overall, 88 power already out of the gate, 84 arm, which is pretty fun. Pablo Barreto, we scouted him. He ended up being 77. Not that big of a draft for the Guardians. Detroit ended up getting Diego Sierra, who ends up being an 87 potential, someone we had on our board. Again, just kind of scoping around, seeing who went. A lot of these guys went early, so I don't really care about the rest. Erwin Lynch ended up being pretty okay. Forrest Bryant ended up being good. Adam Sandoval, who we had on our board, he ended up being very good so far, the highest potential guy at 95. Carlos Valentin ended up being really good. Josh Banks we didn't have on our board, but he ended up being very good. Arthur Beam we had on our board. Vinny Gomez, I believe we also did. Those two ended up being pretty solid B potentials. Really good draft by the Astros. Lionel Gildehouse, ass. Very bad. Not good from the Angels. Bruno Calero, 77 overall potential, but a very good fielder out of the gate. Reed Fernandez, first pick for the Mariners, was okay. Nothing to write home about for... because they had their really big... this is Miguel Lopez, I think one was the second baseman I really didn't care about. They ended up getting like Gunnar Henderson and a whole bunch of good free agents, so they had 2 picks to work with. Jay Ritson, ass. All right. Charlie Alez we had on our board. He ended up being okay. Fine by that. Sam Buckley ended up being pretty good. A steal by the Mets. Manuel Chavez we had ended up being okay. Nothing crazy. Carlos Herrera was pretty good. Anybody else on our board that we recognize here? Anybody else you recognize? Thomas Hillman we didn't have, but ended up being good. Bob Reyes we did have on our board. He ended up being a solid B potential guy. Ray Pettit ended up being an 85 potential. I think he went in the first pick of the second round by the Brew Crew, so they ended up getting a pretty good. But so far, and Emilio Diaz. So we ended up picking correctly. Diaz would have been fine. We ended up picking the shortstop that was best for us. Good on us. Jermaine Nobles ended up being bad. Steve Campaneris, I don't think we had him on our board. Remember him from scouting. He ended up being okay. Stephen Lynn ended up being really good, 94 potential. Tim Warren, 80 potential, 71 overall to start. So I guess 2 good center fielders, and they also got a good catcher at the end here for the Diamondbacks. Elvis Cabrera, as I mentioned, probably would have been my pick if I had a chance. Anybody, he ended up being really good. And Sebastian Velasco, who I wanted to get later in the draft, the Rockies ended up scooping him up. 94 potential would have been awesome. 19, what a weird profile. I love that. I love this. They've gotten real better at the different guys and the different archetypes people end up being. Wendell Blake, I didn't scout him. I didn't think it was going to be able to even get him. And truth be told, correct. 90 potential, 89 potential by Luis Gallegos there. But we ended up getting one of the best players in the draft, 2 of the better players in the draft, the weak draft class overall. But honestly, really, really good job by us. Ross Kahn, very excited for him. All right, we made the trades. We made our moves. We will be playing here against Cincinnati. Hunter Green, Noriyashi to start the second half. And again, we have Cincinnati, Seattle. We are about 500 right now. Baltimore is actually overtaking us in the wild card and in the AL East. And now, like, the Twins are, and we just made the Twins better. The Guardians, the Orioles, the Tigers. It was an end to July. The Dodgers kicked our ass. Baltimore swept us. Detroit we split with. Fighting for our lives here. We're going to be playing a lot in August, September. We'll see you then here on Tisbury 33 Games. Do we think we make the playoffs? I sure hope so. We'll see you soon. Here we are to break down the All-Stars for this year. Tarek Skubal, for the first time in this franchise, Garrett Crochet. And he's had plenty of all-star caliber, Cy Young caliber seasons, have not brought home either of those awards. Finally recognized as an all-star. You got Joe Ryan, Brian Wu, and J.P. Sears along Skubal and Crochet. Esteban Hidalgo having a good year for the Yankees, unfortunately. Here he is as a relief pitcher with 65 stamina. Probably going to make him a starter because that's kind of where his value would probably be. Class A, who's been excellent with the Bombers as well, with Chris Bubich, Felix Bautista. So that's 2 Red Sox making the Midsummer Classic, having an even better year than he did last year. Cade Smith, Jeff Hoffman, and Edwin Uceta also getting all-star nods. Yanier Diaz, Moises Ballesteros, and Freddie Fermin. Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Rafael Devers, our third and final all-star this year. Jake Berger also in the first base representatives. Colt Keith, C.J. Abrams at the Keystone, Jose Ramirez and Willie Castro in the hot corner, and Corey Seager, Bobby Witt Jr. and Carson Williams as the shortstops. Wyatt Langford, Brent Rooker, Salvatore Ramirez, and Brian Reynolds in left. Julio Rodriguez in center, Matt Wallner and Aaron Judge in right field, with Guerrero, Devers, Wallner, Abrams, and Berger technically being DHs. For National League, Shane McClanahan, Paul Skeen, Shohei Ohtani, Christopher Sanchez, and Jordan Wicks. Mostly names you would probably expect, except for Wicks here and as the starting pitcher in National League representatives. Brian Hoeing and Darius Vines, the All-Stars in the bullpen, with Porter Hodge, Yohan Duran, Ryan Walker, Alex Vesia, and Evan Phillips, all having extraordinary seasons. Logan O'Hoppe, Ivan Herrera, and Patrick Bailey are your catchers. Bryce Harper, Jonah Bride first base, Nico Herner, Bryce Terang at second, Royce Lewis and Brady House at third. Ellie De La Cruz, Gunnar Henderson, Trey Turner, and Ezekiel Tovar make up a very fun group of shortstops, with old friend Jaron Duran having a really nice season for him. Still OPSing around the same. The only difference is he's hitting home runs. Already more home runs this year than he's had in all but one season with us in this series. Already basically putting up the same power stats. I don't know where they're having him in the lineup. Maybe he's a little more advantageous for getting these power numbers, and also a pretty hitter-friendly park is what I was trying to go for in Cincinnati. His teammate out there in the outfield, Dalton Varsho, also makes it with Corbin Carroll, Ronald Acuna Jr., Fernando Tatis Jr., Juan Soto, and Seiya Suzuki in right field, with Ohtani and Bride the only 2 DHs. So we get out of the All-Star break. We have had a good start to July, winning the series against Houston, losing the series against Miami, sweeping Philadelphia, but then losing the series against the Mets. As we sit right now, we are not looking at the East. We are in the wild card race for the American League. The Astros, the Tigers, the Athletics, and the Royals, and even the Orioles, only 2 games back of the spot. We are a game and a half up. Looking at one of basically the better wild card teams. Look at the National League, the Cubs, Braves, Diamondbacks, Pirates, Cardinals, Nationals, even the Padres and the Marlins all fighting for wild card spots, with the West being owned by the Dodgers. Central, the Reds are there, but the Cubs and the Pirates could make a run. Even the Cardinals could as well. All 3 teams have 50-plus wins. The Brewers well behind in the pack. And then the National League East, it is the Mets, Braves, and then Nationals, Marlins kind of outside looking in. So again, we're looking for good bats on the corner infield. Can we find that? We will see soon, but we're going to start signing our prospects, and a lot of stuff here still left to do. All right, here are the results of this year's Home Run Derby. We're in Busch Stadium, and we got the new All-Star jerseys in the game, and also I believe in game you actually wear your regular team's uniform like always. But these are our competitors: Henderson, Burleson, Rooker, Seager, Vientos, Soto, Wallner, Ohtani. We'll see who advances. Wallner, Rooker, Soto, and Ohtani enter the bracket. Everyone else eliminated. Shohei Ohtani, Brent Rooker for the whole damn thing. And what can't Brent Rooker do? He is your 2025 or 2029 Home Run Derby champion. Brent Rooker, robbed in real life, the GOAT here. In the actual All-Star game, we did have just 3 participants. I lied. We missed one Garrett Crochet batter. We do get a strikeout here with him. He struck out 2 batters in this appearance. First All-Star game for Garrett Crochet in this series, which is absolutely wild. Absolutely crazy how good he's been for us, how dominant he's been for us. Is yet to make an All-Star team, yet to win like a Cy Young, really get any after-season accolades, which is crazy. Felix Bautista, as we saw, also made it for us, and he hits Nico Horner. Also love how in-game they have just the team's jerseys in the All-Star game. That's so much better, especially in these video games where we can go so far in the future. It just makes so much sense to have everyone just in the regular uniform and just call it a day that way. Does get Wyatt Langford out. Next guy is, or not Wyatt Langford, Wyatt Langford makes the out. What a dive by Colt Keith. Keep that ball from being a hit. Juan Soto robbed a little bit. Shout out Juan Soto. Red Sox in my head cannon. And then Dalton Varsho is going to ground out to Jose Ramirez. And almost 1-2-3 goes the National League at the hands of Felix Bautista. But here's what it is. Hit a guy there, but the American League All-Stars still lead 3-1 here in the mid-summer classic. Last guy to get a chance to see the field will be Rafael Devers. He only got the 1 at bat, and he did the most with it. Pitch comes in, he flares this to center field, and that will drop down for a hit. So that will do it for the American League representation from the Boston Red Sox. Again, love seeing our guys get acknowledged for the seasons they are having. And now let's move on to the Futures game, where David McCormick ends up getting the start against Preston Lutz, number 1 versus number 2 in terms of prospect rankings here in game. McCormick is going to start us off with a fastball. Again, he's kind of been roughed up a little bit in Double-A. Didn't think he was quite Double-A ready, but just with how the season has gone, the need has arose for him to be in Double-A. So that is what it do be. You guys get the first man out. Gary Knox, a third baseman from Colorado, is going to look at strike number 3. And then watch this pitch. Right at the knees. Clips the zone. Good frame by the catcher. And then Rolando Bruce, a Pirates prospect, is going to ground to Sebastian Walcott And over to John Norman, our other representative in the futures game, who's going to get, I think, 5 at-bats. Stings one down the line. It's saved, not caught, but saved from going in the outfield. And Norman will be on for a single. I don't think he did much else. I think he just, like, one pitch, flyouts, and pop-ups the rest of the way. Like that should have been absolutely tattooed, but the game hates me. It is what it do. Moving on, John Norman 1 for 2 again, and another fastball. They times up, middle of the plate, and just can't quite get to it. 2 more at-bats for Norman, 0-1 count. This one absolutely hit actually on the line, but again, didn't get the power behind it, which is crazy because he is a powerful bloke. And then in the 10th inning, trying to be the hero. Can he do it? Can John Norman be the hero? As the lefty gets the slider, hits it well, but just right at the right fielder. Unlucky as unlucky gets here today for John Norman. And that will do it. We are hooking up with the Giants and making a blockbuster trade, sending Simeon Woods Richardson and DJ Gladney to the Giants in exchange for Elliot Ramos. Ramos this year, 16 home runs, 18 doubles, OPSing 739. Not the best of seasons, but still a decently good offensive season with some pop. He will be a free agent at the end of the year. Most likely will not be retaining him. This is probably going to be our DH play. Guy that has 66 contact against righties, 65 power against righties, but where he does excel is 84 contact, 91 power against lefties, as well as 94 clutch. 59 fielding, 76 arm. Again, he is going to come out here to Fenway Park and hit absolute bombs. And they get Simeon Woods Richardson, who has struggled with us, is figuring things out in AAA, but as a pitcher with 3 more years of team control and his 82 overall B potential, he would today be the 3rd, 4th best pitcher on the roster for the Giants. A team that's probably losing Jack Flaherty, a team that's probably losing a guy like Kyle Harrison, a guy that potentially could be losing Hayden Birdsong in a year or two. They can add Simeon Woods Richardson to Prince Aller, give them some flexibility, maybe only have to keep 1 or 2 of these 2 starters. So that's going to be the first move we are making, but we are looking at one more. Last trade we're going to make, Eduardo Tate is going to be going to the Los Angeles Angels for Nolan Schanuel. He's going to play first base for us. In the interim, we have another year keeping control with him. They just traded for Orlando Fletcher, who will presumably take over at first base for the foreseeable future, or a really good, well-rounded bat. We also are sending over Eduardo Tate, who is a really good catching prospect, would be their backup catcher right now in terms of overall. Moises Ballesteros is an all-star. He has some team control. Pretty similar bat, maybe a platoon on the way. But again, obviously, we're putting all our stock into Dominique Alez. We have guys like Walker Jenick, Eliezer Alfonso, and Carlos Narvaez as backup catcher type role guys. Asher Fuqua, the starter. It's a place of strength for us. We will be dealing from there. Welcome to the team, Nolan Schanuel. Making one final trade. We will be getting rid of Jordan Walker, not because I don't think Jordan Walker is a good player, just he has been playing a lot better as of late. He is boasting an 833 OPS, but with the additions we have, it's just better. We're not going to keep him around after this year, so might as well get something for him. We're sending the Minnesota Twins, who right now are starting Luke Keeschel, who is a good player, but just hasn't put it together. 85 games this year, OPSing 543. So in return, we're getting third baseman Kalen Culpepper, can play around the infield as well other than first base. More contact, speed, fielding over everything else. We are also picking up a backup, a depth catcher, Onyx Vega. Really good fielding, not really much else. Again, just trying to get an extra catcher in the organization, so we traded one away. I like having an extra catcher. They usually get hurt, so that is what is going to be that. So here we're going to be the updated lineups as right now. Marcelo Meyer leading off, playing short. Rafael Devers, we are going to third base. First time in forever he's played third base. We are sacrificing a little bit of defense here. We need the offense to kind of kick things up. Obviously, we know what he can do with the stick. Christian Campbell will be at second base still. Riley Green in left field. Elliot Ramos in DH. Nolan Shanuel at first base. Roman Anthony in right field. Asher Fuqua at catcher. Ceddanne Rafaela in center field. Ooh. I might have found an idea that I like. I kind of like it. If we put Ceddanne Rafaela... Give me 1 second. All right, mad genius time. We are going to keep Rafael Devers at DH. Christian Campbell will now play third base for us. Riley Green will be in right field, Ramos in left field. Nolan Shanuel at first base, Roman Anthony in center field. Asher Fuqua at catcher, and Ceddanne Rafaela at second base. Same thing against lefties, Rodolfo Castro, obviously our shortstop. It's going to be Elliot Ramos in left field again. Devers DHing, Riley Green in right field, Christian Campbell at third, Shanuel at first, Fuqua at catcher, Roman Anthony in center field, and Ceddanne Rafaela at second base. Simpson, Bregman, Narvaez, Meyer on the bench. All right, we made the trades. We made our moves. We will be playing here against Cincinnati. Hunter Green, Noriyashi to start the second half. And again, we have Cincinnati, Seattle. We are about 500 right now. Baltimore is actually overtaking us in the wild card and in the AL East. And now, like, the Twins are, and we just made the Twins better. The Guardians, the Orioles, the Tigers. It was an end to July. The Dodgers kicked their ass. Baltimore swept us. Detroit we split with. Fighting for our lives here. We're going to be playing a lot in August, September. We'll see you then here on Tisbury 33 Games. Do we think we make the playoffs? I sure hope so. We'll see you soon.